YouTube, it's Patricia with through-these-eyes.com, and today I want to talk about racial politics. Now, a lot of stuff's been going on in the news. I'm sure you've heard, seen the riots in Ferguson, the riots in Baltimore. A lot of this tension is being reinforced by a lot of people in power. And I want to bring something to your attention because it didn't get a lot of play. On May 9th, First Lady Michelle Obama gave a commencement speech at Tuskegee University. It's been my experience that commencement speeches are very positive, they're uplifting, they're inspiring, they're motivating. Generally, you at the end, you're left feeling good and proud. I listened to her 30-minute speech and could not believe what I heard. And that just completely reinforces my opinion that those people at the top that just keep promoting this racial tension, it isn't us as a society, it's those in charge that pick and choose what they want to focus on and how they want to divide people. Now, I'm going to show you some snippets of her speech, and I want you to tell me what you think. If you think it's positive, if you think she had a positive message, okay, then call me wrong. But I heard this and could not believe what I was hearing. Anyway, she started off pretty good. I mean, typical. Well, listen.
I'm so proud of you all. And you look good. Well done. You all have come here from all across the country to study, to learn, maybe have a little fun along the way. After today, all of you will take your spot in the long line of men and women who have come here and distinguished themselves and this university. Leaders like Robert Robinson Taylor, the groundbreaking architect and administrator here who's recently honored on a postage stamp. You will follow heroes like Dr. Boynton Robinson, who survived the billy clubs and the tear gas of Bloody Sunday in Selma. The story of Tuskegee is full of stories like theirs. Men and women who came to this city, seized their own futures, and wound up shaping the arc of history for African Americans and all Americans.
Okay, and then she goes on to give a little history of Tuskegee and the struggles that they had to overcome to build the school larger. And then she talks about the struggles that the airmen faced with their white counterparts. Well, let's listen to some of that.
And I'd like to begin today by reflecting on that history, starting back at the time when the Army chose Tuskegee as the site of its airfield and flight school for black pilots. Back then, black soldiers faced all kinds of obstacles. There were the so-called scientific studies that said that black men's brains were smaller than white men's. Official Army reports stated that black soldiers were childlike, shiftless, unmoral, and untruthful, and as one quote stated, if fed, loyal and compliant.
Hold on. Did somebody really just say that? If you feed them, they will be loyal and compliant. Now that struck me because it sounded oddly familiar. Does it sound familiar to any of you? Because to me, that sounds like the Democratic Party. Now, I'm not trying to get all, Democrat, Republican, whatever. Your party is your party, but I want you to think about something. And again, this goes to racial politics. We always hear that the Democrats are for the poor and for, the minorities, the minority party. and that the Republicans are for the whites and the rich and the big business. But going back to, she just said it, if you feed them, they will be loyal and compliant. The Democratic Party is constantly, vote for us and we'll make it easier for you to get food stamps, and we'll extend your unemployment, and you'll get free health care, and they want free child care, and they're going to give you all of this stuff so that you will be loyal and compliant, instead of thinking on your own and working for your own shit. Okay, but let's go back to it, because that's off the point, sorry, but I had to stop it there.
So while the airmen selected for this program are actually highly educated, many already had college degrees and pilot licenses, they were presumed to be inferior. During training, they were often assigned to menial tasks like housekeeping or landscaping. Many suffered verbal abuse at the hands of their instructors. When they ventured off base, the white sheriff here in town called them boy and ticketed them for the most minor offenses. And when they finally deployed overseas, white soldiers often wouldn't even return their salutes. Now just think about what that must have been like for those young men.
Okay, so she's reminded us of what it was like back in the day. Discrimination was commonplace. She reminds us of what society felt toward black people. But here's where she could have really made this an inspirational speech, where she really could have been motivating and uplifting. She could have gone into her life, her experiences, a look at how far we've come speech. But she didn't do that. Instead, she took the opportunity to kind of tell us we're still back in that time, that the struggle still continues. And let me show you what she does. Watch what
But I also imagine that you might think about all that history, all those heroes who came before you, and you might also feel a little pressure, pressure to live up to the legacy of those who came before you. Back when my husband first started campaigning for president, folks had all sorts of questions of me. What kind of first lady would I be? What kinds of issues would I take on? Would I be more like Laura Bush or Hillary Clinton or Nancy Reagan? And the truth is, those same questions would have been posed to any candidate's spouse. That's just the way the process works. But as potentially the first African-American first lady, I was also the focus of another set of questions and speculations, conversations sometimes rooted in the fears and misperceptions of others. Was I too loud or too angry or too emasculating? Or was I too soft, too much of a mom, not enough of a career woman? Then there was the first time I was on a magazine cover. It was a cartoon drawing of me with a huge afro and a machine gun. Now, yeah, it was satire, but if I'm really being honest, that knocked me back a bit. It made me wonder, well, just how are people seeing me?
Okay, hold on. I just got to stop it right here because, she talks about a magazine cover, and all right, I'll put the magazine cover right here. It was on the cover of the New Yorker magazine, and it was actually a spoof mocking Michelle Obama's critics. So it was actually a supportive cartoon. Just wanted to clarify that. That was not a right-wing thing poking fun at Michelle Obama. Anyway.
The road ahead is not going to be easy. It never is, especially for folks like you and me. Because while we've come so far, the truth is that those age-old problems are stubborn, and they haven't fully gone away. So there will be times, just like for those airmen, when you feel like folks look right past you, or they see just a fraction of who you really are. The world won't always see you in those caps and gowns. They won't know how hard you worked and how much you sacrificed to make it to this day. Instead, they will make assumptions about who they think you are based on their limited notion of the world. And my husband and I know how frustrating that experience can be. We've both felt the sting of those daily slights throughout our entire lives. The folks who crossed the street in fear of their safety, the clerks who kept a close eye on us in all those department stores, the people at formal events who assumed we were the help, and those who have questioned our intelligence, our honesty, even our love of this country. And I know that these little indignities are obviously nothing compared to what folks across the country are dealing with every single day. Those nagging worries that you're going to get stopped or pulled over for absolutely no reason. The fear that your job application will be overlooked because of the way your name sounds. The agony of sending your kids to schools that may no longer be separate, but are far from equal. The realization that no matter how far you rise in life, how hard you work to be a good person, a good parent, a good citizen, for some folks, it will never be enough.
Okay, hold on. So because you're black or you're Hispanic, store clerks are going to follow you and you're going to get pulled over, and white people are going to cross the street when they see you if you're standing on the corner. Wow. Okay. I cry bullshit. Honestly, I don't even know where to begin with that one. Have I felt discrimination? I guess. Have I been treated because of, have I been treated differently because of how my name sounds? Okay, most people can't pronounce my last name, so much less spell it. But I, personally, have been treated just fine. As a Hispanic woman, I will tell you that I don't care if it's a group of white guys, black guys, or Mexican guys. If there's a group of guys in the corner, I'm going to be a little more cautious. And that's just because there's one of me and a lot of them. It has nothing to do with their color. You're equally as cautious as a female walking alone down the street. Have I been followed in a store? Probably. Is it because I'm Mexican? I doubt it. Now, if it's because I'm Mexican and you think I'm naive, so be it. But I want to say that it probably has more to do with how I'm carrying myself or what I'm wearing in what particular store when I'm being followed or watched. People, you need to own your actions. You need to own how you look, how you present yourself to the public. There are norms for a reason, and if you are outside of the norm, you're going to draw attention. And if you don't like that attention, then don't do it. Okay? Don't walk around with a hoodie and baggy pants in an expensive ass store where they think you're going to pocket something. You are free to wear what you want to wear, to express yourself the way you want to express, but don't cry when people treat you differently because you're outside the norm. I was at the mall and I went into a Nordstrom. It was towards the end of the day. I looked like crap. I had no makeup on. I was wearing dirty jeans, dirty tennis shoes, a raggedy t-shirt, and I'm in the shoe department at Nordstrom. There were 3 people working there, a white woman, a Mexican woman, and a young black man. Of those 3, only the young black man came and asked if I needed help. The 2 women had no time for me. Did I blame them? Did I look at them and like, oh, they're racist because they wouldn't help this Mexican girl? No. I knew why they didn't help me. And I was very happy and thankful that the young man took the time to come and see if I needed help. I bought something. I didn't need it, but I knew he'd get commission, and I thanked him for his time. But I didn't walk out of there thinking like, oh, Nordstrom's is racist because they wouldn't help a Mexican girl. Oh, I knew what I looked like. Every other woman walking around there was in heels and a dress. Now, is that right? Should they have like, oh, we don't have time for her? No, they probably shouldn't have. They didn't get the commission. So their actions resulted in what they got, which was nothing from me. But I owned that experience. I don't blame them, because if the roles were reversed, I probably would have done the same thing. This is actually a completely different video, and I'm sorry to get off tangent. But anyway, I just want to say, look, if you're going to dress a certain way and you're going to act a certain way, then you need to expect a certain type of response to it.
And all of that is going to be a heavy burden to carry. It can feel isolating. It can make you feel like your life somehow doesn't matter. And as we've seen over the past few years, those feelings are real. They're rooted in decades of structural challenges that have made too many folks feel frustrated and invisible. And those feelings are playing out in communities like Baltimore and Ferguson and so many others across this country.
I can't believe she just said that.
But graduates, today I want to be very clear that those feelings are not an excuse to just throw up our hands and give up. Not an excuse. They are not an excuse to lose hope. To succumb to feelings of despair and anger only means that in the end, we lose.
Okay, that was almost inspiring, kind of. But listen, because here it comes.
But here's the thing. Our history provides us with a better story. It teaches us that when we pull ourselves out of the lowest emotional depths and we channel our frustrations into studying and organizing and banding together, then we can build ourselves and our communities up. We can take on those deep-rooted problems, and together, we can overcome anything that stands in our way. And the first thing we have to do is vote. Hey, no, not just once in a while, not just when my husband or somebody you like is on the ballot, but in every election, at every level, all of the time. Because here's the truth. If you want to have a say in your community, if you truly want the power to control your own destiny, then you've got to be involved. You've got to be at the table. You've got to vote, 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 vote. That's it. That's the way we move forward. That's how we make progress for ourselves and for our country.
Okay, did this just become a Democratic conventional speech? Is she running for office?
Those airmen who rose above brutal discrimination, they did it so that the whole world could see just how high black folks could soar. You've got yourselves and all the heart and grit and smarts that got you to this day. And if you rise above the noise and the pressures that surround you, if you stay true to who you are and where you come from, if you have faith in God's plan for you, then you will keep fulfilling your duty to the people all across this country. And as the years pass, you'll feel the same freedom that Charles DeBow did when he was taken off in that airplane. You will feel the bumps smooth off. You'll take part in that never-failing miracle of progress. And you'll be flying through the air, out of this world, free. God bless you, graduates. Can't wait to see how high you soar. Love you all. Very proud. Thank you.
All right, guys. Why did I share this video? Because this, to me, was not an inspirational speech. After listening to this speech, I feel like I should be looking at everybody as if they're racists, if they're judging me by the color of my skin. And I don't feel like that. This country is the land of opportunity. It's the land of equal opportunity, not equal results. You do need to fight for everything you have. because you need to work for it. Nothing
Why
should
would
be
the First
Lady of the United States give this type of a speech. Why would she be sending this message of, watch your back and stick together and it's us versus them? Why would she continue that? And my only answer, the only thing I can think of is it all comes back to power and who has it. Money, influence. I don't know if I can explain this eloquently, but people like Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, Reverend Jeremiah Wright, people like Barack Obama himself and Eric Holder, they all have power and they all want to keep it. They need the poor people to support them, to keep them in power. The only thing I can give you to try to prove my point, when Barack Obama took office, his estimated net worth back in 2008 was about $1.3 million, okay? They were both lawyers. He'd written a book or 2 books by then. 1.3 million. Their estimated net worth now is $7 million, okay? That's over 400% increase in 6 years. And most presidents earn or make most of their money when they're out of office, when they sit on boards and give speeches and do presidential things. In 2008, the national average household income for a black family was around $36,000. In 2015, it's estimated that the average income for a black family is actually going to drop to $33,000 and change. Wow. That's about a 12% loss in income over Obama's 6-year tenure. Now, people are going to blame it on the recession and all that. You want to go there? Okay. But he's been in power and he had the opportunity to make changes to improve things. And we had the stimulus and we had all kinds of these quasi-shovel-ready jobs that didn't happen. But okay. Let's set the Obamas aside. Michelle Obama in her speech referred to Ferguson, referred to Baltimore. Well, let's take Chicago, Baltimore, and the little town of Ferguson. Those 3 cities have been democratically run for over 50 years, and they are the poorest cities. They have the highest unemployment rates and the lowest average incomes. Why? It's their policies that she says are stacked against them, but Baltimore has a black mayor, a black chief of police. I don't know. If they can't change it, then who can? My thought is they can change it, but they choose not to. They would rather have people poor to keep themselves in power than to do what they espouse to do. I don't know. Anyway, what do you think? Did you find that inspiring? Did you find that made you feel like, yeah, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to be the best that I can be? It made me feel like I need to, really look at who's watching me and, maybe I'm being denied this or that. Come on. Anyway, all right. That's just my opinion. I thought I'd share with you. What do you think? Thoughts? Leave a comment below. Like, share, subscribe, and yeah, see you next video.